This is episode 146, 3 Hard Things to be Grateful For. Welcome to Alive by Design. My name is Blake Mallon, and we're here to bring you inspiring people, principles, and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. Open your mind and let's dive in. Hey guys, before you listen to the podcast, I just want to drop in and say I appreciate you for being here, and I'm super excited about this new Walk With Me series. These are solo episodes where I take some time in the middle of my morning run through the Santa Monica Mountains to share some inspired ideas and thoughts on my mind and heart. If you want to join me for any of these conversations live, you can catch me many mornings on my Facebook page, facebook.com/blakemallon.page. Would love to see you there. Love you guys. Enjoy the episode. Walk with me. So if I were to ask you to just pause whatever you're doing right now, wherever you are, whatever time it is, where you are, and if I were to ask you, what are a few things that you're genuinely grateful for right now? What comes to your mind? It feels like we're in kind of this gratitude movement, aren't we? I think if there's one gifts coming out of the last couple years, it's maybe a realignment of values, a renewed appreciation for things that really matter. There's nothing like loss or restriction or limitation to reestablish a value system. And one of the things, at least I love, is this resurgence of gratitude as an intention, as a focus, as a practice. And I'm all for it. How can you not be? You know, there's a lot of conversation around expressing gratitude for the little things. It's easy to express gratitude for, like, the obvious things. But I actually want to have a conversation with y'all on maybe some gratitude shifts of the not so obvious things. Like the things that people are not talking about. Maybe the things that we're not thinking about. Maybe some of the things that happen in our life that if we were actually able to shift and attach a morning, hey buddy, attach a genuine feeling of gratitude to certain things that you'd never think about having that emotion tied to. But if we were able to, would make a complete difference in the fulfillment, the meaning, the happiness of our day-to-day. And I want to talk about those unobvious things we should be grateful for. And the topic today, gratitude, right, is not a new concept. I love the increasing frequency we're having a conversation today. How many of y'all over the last year have started to just go to gratitude as a default state, a home state, an emotional state more because of what we've been through than maybe before? And I know there's been a lot of conversation on like being grateful for the little things. And I'm a believer in that. You know, I think one of the first things that come to my mind when I do ask myself that question, which is pretty frequently something I try to do daily. When I say simple things, it's, you know, I'm grateful that I woke up this morning. that I got air in my lungs. I'm grateful for my health, and that immediately transfers to the health of my family, all my loved ones. Without health, we have nothing. So to me, it starts there. If we woke up and we have our health, it's a good day. Maybe the people around me that we have, loved ones, close, people that care, the opportunity to build relationships, deepen relationships, create experiences every single day. Simple things, little things, the things that actually matter. But there's been a lot of conversation on all of that. I don't want to not address it because I do think all of it is important. And I think it starts there. There's the obvious things. The obvious things don't need dialogue from us this morning. When things are going the way we want, when things are going well, right? When things are working out, we feel blessed, and gratitude's easy in that environment. So what I want to talk about is the less obvious. Some things that I believe, and I've learned going through them, that if we can express gratitude for, like a real sincere feeling of gratitude, it changes everything. It shifts everything. And it's the less obvious things that I want to talk with y'all about this morning. First thing that comes to my mind, probably something that you wouldn't normally associate a feeling of gratitude for, that I've learned over time to think about. Take a seat with y'all. And the first thing that comes to my mind is being grateful when things do not work out the way you want or expect them to. Now, I know what you're thinking, right? We've all had those experiences. I want you to think of a first couple of things that are top of mind that like you really wanted to happen, like you had a expectation. I know in my experience, I've been in certain situations where I had like a feeling of certainty that the outcome was going to go exactly the way I wanted. Like I would have bet everything on it, and then all of a sudden it doesn't. And there's a mixed set of emotions that we all experience when we go through these situations. And if we're all honest, I'm willing to bet gratitude is not usually at the top of that list. Surprise, frustration, anger, resentment, hatred, victimhood, like so many things that go into our mind. Why is me? What is this happening? Right? Oh no, I thought, I knew. What if? Usually gratitude's not the top of the list. And I don't know if you guys have found similar, but if I look back at some of those situations where like I knew with certainty I wanted a certain outcome, there was something I wanted to go my way, right? I would even pray like this is the direction I want. Then all of a sudden, right, it doesn't go that direction. I've found through time and reflection that a lot of times, even though that wasn't what I wanted, it might have been what I needed. Meaning sometimes the doors that get shut are shut because we're meant to go through another door. And sometimes we get so stuck on our willpower, on our desire, what we think is best for us, that we get so myopic, right? So linearly focused in one direction that it takes sometimes the world literally slamming a door in our face to say, hey, this is not the way you're meant to be going. And sometimes those walls have to hit us, right, upside the head in order to redirect us in the way that we're meant to go. And it's painful, like it hurts. Sometimes we stand there at the door and we keep beating our head against it, saying, no, this is the way I want to go. And it takes us a while to realize that we are meant to go another way. Sometimes the doors that shut when things don't work out, it's literally keeping us from a path of maybe more pain or devastation or a scenario that is not going to allow us to reach our potential. And it's hard because we create this expectation or this vision of the way we think things will play out that often we close our minds to even the perspective that maybe it wasn't going to happen that way. So I think one of the very first things we have to learn when things don't go the way that we want them to or we expect them to is that doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's wrong, right? It doesn't mean that everything ends right there, that sometimes we have to be grateful that the door is shutting because it removes the option, right, to go the wrong way and redirects us in a way that might end up being better for us, our goals, our aspirations, our desires, our family. And that perspective only comes in hindsight, right? It's hard when it's in the moment, but I'm willing to bet if you were to look back at some of those points, some of those forks in the road where you really wanted to go left and boom, that wall went up. So you had to go right. Going right actually led to a better place for you. Now, it might not have been that day or that week or that month or that year. It might take time. But with enough time, you get the hindsight. And you start to realize that the universe, life, has a funny way of closing doors that are meant to be closed and opening doors that are meant to be opened. And the more we start to not fight that, but actually be grateful when a door shuts, so that way we can begin to become more aware of the doors that are opening, not only the faster will we navigate the course that we're on, but the better we're going to feel, right, about the doors that close on us when things don't work out the way that we want them to. Now, don't misunderstand me. That doesn't mean that we can't have a desire, doesn't mean we can't have a vision, doesn't mean we shouldn't be strategic. I'm for all of those. I'm all about the intention, the affirmation, right? Setting the path that you think you want. I think all of that is still valid. All of that is still true. Just know that sometimes we're right and that is the path, and sometimes we're not. And that is okay as well. And we can be grateful despite the outcome. So I've learned to become grateful for the doors that shut, the things that don't work out the way that I wanted. I think a second thing that comes to my mind, a gratitude shift, would be learning to become genuinely grateful for the struggles that we face. Now, this one's hard. I know we've heard inspirational quotes or motivational quotes or passages, and it is a hard one, but track with me here, right? It is true that the victory, the win, the triumph, you guys, it's fun. It's a blast. Those moments, right, are amazing. But there is zero doubt that the journey, the process, the struggle, the rise, the overcoming, all of that is not only where the skill gets built, the real life, practical, tangible skill, but also the mental fortitude, the mental resilience, the mental skill, right? Your mental and your physical skill gets built in the journey. It gets built in the struggle. It's the times that we get tested the most that we actually define who we are. It's the times where we're walking through the fire, right, that our character gets forged. It's the times when everything's going right against us, the pressure around us, that we figure out what we're built for. Those are the times that not only push us to our limits, those are the times that actually expand our limits. Those are the times that allow us to move toward a potential. The easy path doesn't create growth. The easy path, right, doesn't create skill. The easy path doesn't build, right, a resilience. The hard path, and the harder the path, the more of all of that is built. And you guys, I think it's more than just about the skill set, right? And it's more than even just about the mindset. So often we get tricked into thinking the outcome is the reward, right? The result that we're looking for. We measure it in metrics like, money or bank accounts or material things. But the reality, guys, is the reward is the feeling that we have about ourselves when we accomplish what we accomplish. If you have the accomplish without the feeling of fulfillment, because that accomplishment is hollow, that accomplishment, right, is meaningless. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. I think Tony Robbins says that. Success without the fulfillment is actually the ultimate failure. But the fulfillment comes in the struggle. There's a lot of conversation today about, self-love, self-confidence, which I think is amazing. But I think in order to love yourself, you must first respect yourself. And in order to respect yourself, you have to challenge yourself. You can't love yourself without respecting yourself, and you can't build a respect unless you push yourself, you challenge yourself, you prove to yourself that you can endure, you can overcome, you can get through. All of the struggle builds the opportunity to overcome, to lead to respect, to lead to self-love, right? To lead to the feeling that everybody should have, that we all want. So with all that in mind, there has to be a shift. Like, we should learn to actually be grateful for the challenges and the obstacles that are put in our way, whether they be circumstantial or situational, whether they be, challenges and obstacles with dealing with people or personalities or relationships, whether they be navigating decisions or strategy, because all of this is building the muscle physically, mentally, right? Emotionally, to make things worthwhile, to give meaning. Because without meaning, it doesn't matter. And if we believe, right, what I'm saying, if we build that perspective, and again, I'm willing to bet if you were to take this lens, this filter, and apply it to your last year, your last 5 years, your last 10 years, this is going to be true. The things that challenged you, even though they were horrible, they sucked, right? You hated it. It wore you out. It got you dirty. You got banged up. You were crawling through the mud. It's that stuff that did make you better. And if that's the case, then shouldn't we really have a gratitude for the challenges that are put in front of us? Oh, today I get the opportunity, right, to find a solution. I get the opportunity to navigate a situation. I get the opportunity to learn and develop. I get the opportunity to become better. I get the opportunity to grow. Being grateful for the actual struggle. I love Ryan Holiday's saying in the book that the obstacle is the way. Because the obstacle creates the opportunity for everything we're talking about here. So I'll give you one more, right? Gratitude shifts. I think the last one, and sometimes this might even be the toughest, is to actually be grateful for relationships that come to an end. I don't know if any of you are like me. I throughout my entire life, I've always had a feeling that just things last forever. When I say things, like everything, my initial assumption is everything lasts forever, right? Every project I'm doing will last forever, right? Every initiative I'm doing will last forever. Every relationship I have will last forever. Every friend I have will last forever. And if there's one thing that you learn, I guess, with wisdom and time is that nothing lasts forever. Everything has a season. Right, some seasons are shorter, some seasons are longer, but everything has a season. Every single thing has a season. And that perspective is not a negative. That perspective and understanding is a positive, because if you know everything has a season, number one is it creates an appreciation for the things that are in season now. But it also allows you to let go and realize that it's a natural course for things to come to an end. And when it comes to relationships, and I don't mean just like significant others, right? Or, your love-in relationships, but I mean friendships, partnerships, right? Acquaintances, right? Because relationships, they start and stop. They come and go. And just because a relationship comes to an end, all right, doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Sometimes you have to be grateful for relationships coming to an end, a season coming to an end. We have to enjoy the changing of the seasons, Because just like when certain doors of opportunity shut, other doors of opportunity open, same thing with relationships. Sometimes we have to let go of certain relationships in order to create space for new relationships. We have to let go, right, of certain relationships in order to allow the energy to shift for other relationships. You guys, and that goes with our spouses, our significant others, right? For those that are still dating. Sometimes you go through certain relationships where you think the person's the one and it's crushing when it comes to an end, but then you realize that it was meant to come to an end, to find the one that is the one. Friendships, right? Partnerships. And the one thing you have to realize is that your people will always be your people. In other words, the people that are meant for you will always be in your life. You can't lose the people that are meant for you right now. So as we go through, our careers, as we go through our personal lives, be open to the fact that, hey, everything does have a season, and sometimes you have to be grateful for when one season comes to an end, because it allows the space, the intention for another season to open. I'm grateful for the fact personally that I was able to find my spouse really, really young. But we both had relationships that had to come to an end back then. That was a long time ago in order to allow, us to move forward. I'm grateful for the fact that I've had amazing partnerships. And I'm grateful for that some of those partnerships had to come to an end and to create space for new partnerships that I have and love today. I've had some amazing friendships, and many have gotten lost over the years, which have created space for new friendships at the same season of life. And I know you guys, if you were to share your story here, would all say the same thing on every level. So if that's the case, and that's the truth for all of us, then I think we have to adopt, right, maybe a feeling of gratitude as we move from season to season, right, from door to door. And understand that sometimes we got to be grateful for, right, one to come to an end, to allow the energy and space for a new to enter our lives. So guys, those are things that come to my mind, all easier said than done, I'll admit. I can't say and talk to all of you guys and come across like I'm perfect at all of this, right? We all have reactions, we all have triggers. And when we go through certain things, right, sometimes those will get the best of us. But I think conversations like this bring a level of awareness that allows us to pause for a minute, take a deep breath, and realize, what? When things don't go our way, it might be a blessing. We should be grateful for that door to shut, because now we know that door isn't meant for us. Let's go another way. We should be grateful when we run into a challenge or a struggle or an obstacle. This is an opportunity for me to get better, for me to learn. Let's see what I'm made of, to build that respect, that self-love. And going into relationships, knowing that relationships, everything has a season. Let's enjoy them while they're here, and let's let go when it's time to let go, to move on to the next. So those are things that I believe if we're able to really shift and add to our gratitude list, just like the little things that matter, will make a huge difference in how we approach every single day and in the speed at which we can move from thing to thing. Give you one more view from the top. Until the next time we walk together, I hope you guys think a little bit more about gratitude this week and the things that we face, and how we bring that energy and intention into the little things, into the obvious things, and now into the less obvious things that'll make a meaningful difference in how we approach our day-to-day. Thank you guys for our time. Till the next time we talk together, take care. God bless.
Hey guys, one last thing. I'm super excited that this new podcast, The Live by Design, just went live. You see, I designed the show to bring you inspired thoughts and fascinating conversations with the world's most impactful people, to provide transformative principles and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. And I'd love for you to help me spread the word now. Simply subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on this platform right now. So if I've ever given you value, please do me this personal favor and go subscribe now. And if you found today's episode helpful in any way, make sure you share this with at least one friend today. You have the power right now to change someone's day. So send them a text message with a link to alivebydesign.com. or simply copy and paste the link right from this podcast platform. Who's one person you know right now that you want to see succeed, that you want to see grow, that you want to see feel more alive? Shoot them a text with your largest takeaway from today and be a light in their day. And if you were referred here by a friend, make sure you shoot them a text back and say thank you. I'd love to hear from you directly on what you got from today's podcast. So if you're up for it, drop by my Instagram @BlakeMallon and shoot me a DM. And as always, thank you for showing up. I'm grateful for you, and I hope our time together today in some small way helped you feel a little more alive. Until next time.